China, the end of the dollar era and the beginning of the era of economic dominance, China from poverty to the top. China's rise was no coincidence, nor was it the result of cheap labor or blind imitation, as some have suspected. There was a long-term strategic plan in place through which China put millions of its people on one path, the path of economic power. China began as a poor, backward country, but with measured steps, it turned the tables. At a time when Western countries were seeking to cut costs, China opened its doors to global companies, offering them land, labor, infrastructure, and virtually zero taxes, all under one condition: come and make here. Within a few years, China transformed into the world's largest factory, producing everything from needles to airplanes. But it didn't stop there. From made in China to invented in China, China invested billions of dollars in education and scientific research, sending thousands of students to American and European universities to learn the best of the West, then return to rebuild their homeland. Thus, China transitioned from being a factory for the world to a factory for ideas and technology. China is no longer just a manufacturer, it controls global supply chains and raw materials. Every product in the world today relies on a Chinese component, whether in manufacturing or technology. Then came the Belt and Road Initiative, a massive project linking Asia to Africa and Europe via a network of roads and ports, strengthening its global economic influence. China versus America, the trade war that shook the world when America realized that China was no longer just a trading partner, but a fierce competitor threatening its economic dominance. It declared war. In 2008, Trump launched a trade war by imposing harsh tariffs on Chinese goods, accusing China of stealing intellectual property. But China did not hesitate to respond in kind, targeting the American agricultural and energy sectors. The confrontation then escalated into a technological blockade, with the United States banning its companies from dealing with the Chinese telecom giant Huawei. China responded by supporting domestic innovation. Reducing its dependence on Western technology, China strikes with rare earths. But the war did not stop at tariffs. Suddenly, China unveiled its most powerful economic weapon: rare earth minerals. These minerals are used in the manufacture of everything from smartphones to advanced missiles. China produces 90% of these minerals globally and has announced export restrictions, threatening to paralyze American industries and the U.S. military. America has tried to find alternatives, but this requires years and massive investments. China has raised the bar for confrontation, leaving Washington in a strategic predicament. The luxury brand scandal, made in China, sold at a tenth of the price. In a clever maneuver, China has